I'm Anne-Maria Nicholson in Naples in Italy. Welcome to Foreign Correspondent. This city is towered over by one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes, Mount Vesuvius. 2,000 years ago, it erupted and destroyed the nearby Roman town of Pompeii. Now scientists fear it's just a matter of time before the volcano blows again. Only this time, there are 3 million people whose lives are at risk. For 35,000 years, the volcanic system of Mount Somma and the mountain it spawned, Mount Vesuvius, have erupted in violent cycles that are still a mystery. Vesuvius is the world's most monitored volcano. But for those watching, it's still a guessing game. Is the mountain at the end of a deadly cycle that started with the 79 AD eruption that wiped out Pompeii and Herculaneum? Or is it at the beginning of a new cycle that could trigger a super eruption?
I would quote it as extremely dangerous because there are 500,000 people living at immediate risk in this area. Only 24 hours time or 48 hours time, this will be a tragedy. Everybody will be killed here.
Scientist Benedetto De Vivo is a maverick.
Yes, all the other details.
He believes the Italian authorities in charge of safety around Vesuvius have got it all wrong, telling the locals they'll have several weeks' warning of a major eruption.
Everything was blowing up, and what you see here, the different layers.
After studying Vesuvius for more than 3 decades, he thinks the government scientists and civil emergency planners are playing politics and putting people's lives at risk.
I think not to take into consideration the worst case, the worst scenario, I think is a criminal attitude, and I think this is a very, very big responsibility of the scientists. And there is too close connection between research and politics.
The halls of Naples University echo 7 centuries of learning. It's where Benedetto De Vivo and volcanologist Giuseppe Romaldi buck the system.
Quindi la storia eruttiva.
The two scientists believe Italians are not prepared for the worst-case scenario. That is, a massive eruption followed by a pyroclastic flow. The flow is a fiery wall of rock, ash and gas. It burns at 1,000 degrees centigrade and can move up to 700 kilometres an hour. When Mount Unzen erupted in Japan in 1991, it consumed everything within 5 kilometres of the peak. Most residents were evacuated, but more than 40 people perished.
There is no way to save your life from a pyroclastic flow. The only way is to stay away from this area.
And there's the rub. Polena is one of 15 towns around the slopes of Vesuvius in an area called the Red Zone. The towns all run into each other and into the heavily congested areas they adjoin. If there's an eruption with just a day's warning, people will not be able to escape unless buildings are demolished and roads widened.
They are so narrow, the roads, and the logistics is so terrible that if you block one or two roads, nothing moves at all. They say there will be the military coordinating all this, but I mean, when you start the alarm and you have 500, 600, 1,000 people will start moving, there is no army that can stop the chaos that will be created.
It's the talk of the town. The civil defence authorities recently held evacuation exercises here, trying to coordinate emergency services. But only a fraction of the population took part, around 1,500 people.
Su un piano che la gente percepisce con un certo scetticismo, le strade scarsamente ampie, è ovvio che un piano di evacuazione fatto con le strutture attuali è un piano di evacuazione molto parziale. Siamo d'accordo col professor De Vio sotto questo profilo.
Palermo's mayor Agostini Maioni says the red zone is saddled with dangerous overdevelopment.
Dagli anni, diciamo, a cavallo tra gli anni 60 e gli anni 70 c'è stato un abusivismo edilizio da far spavento.
Nel comune di Napoli, prossima all'attuale linea rossa, è comunque bene dentro.
And that's where the politics come in. De Vivo and Romaldi say the red zoning is political and without a scientific basis. They say the red zone should be an 11-kilometre circle around the volcano. Instead, it's 8 kilometres, but it follows municipal boundaries. Under construction on the edge of the red zone is the biggest hospital in southern Italy. It's well within the danger zone and will house thousands of patients and workers. It's also in the path of the lava from the last eruption.
I think it's a totally crazy decision, probably is dictated by political opportunity. If you have a pyroclastic flow, if you are in the high-risk area, I don't think that the Vesuvius will respect the political opportunity, will respect the border of municipalities, for example.
Vesuvius binds the heart and soul of the Campania region. It's the source of myth and romance, wealth and tragedy. Below Vesuvius, the people of modern-day Pompeii are as relaxed as their ancestors were 2,000 years ago. Their city sits side by side with the ruins of old Pompeii, the wealthy Roman city destroyed by a pyroclastic flow following the 79 AD eruption. There was no warning. Indeed, many didn't realise the mountain in front of them was a volcano. It had been sleeping for 8 centuries. In 1944, Vesuvius erupted again. A low-energy explosion that expelled the river of lava that is still visible where the hospital is being built today. It wiped out whole villages, but everybody was able to get out of the way. That's the memory Neapolitans like Raffaele de Turo have of an eruption. He remembers when he was 15 watching the lava destroy all of his town.
Per noi vedevamo come cadevano I fabbricati e quindi per noi era un divertimento, per noi ragazzi, per quelli che perdevano la casa eccetera era un dispiacere enorme. Quindi noi eravamo incoscienti a quell'epoca.
Ha paura adesso del Vesuvio?
Assolutamente no, Assolutamente nessuna paura, perché anzi la gente è convinta che ci vorranno ancora molti decenni prima che possa succedere qualche altra cosa, quindi non crede a quel che possa avvenire da un momento all'altro.
This is the rim of the crater of Mount Vesuvius. 12 kilometres below me is a ticking time bomb, a giant lake of magma stretching perhaps 20 kilometres. If it erupts, it won't just be Italy's problem, it will be an international one. The extent of the danger to Naples was revealed by De Vivo and American scientists more than 20 years ago. But the politicians of the regional government of Campania have been slow to acknowledge it. Environment Minister Luigi Nocera believes Naples is as ready as it can be.
Abbiamo visto che abbiamo 7 giorni per mettere in sicurezza il nostro territorio.
Some scientists say you might have 1 day's warning. What happens if that's the case?
Io mi auguro che questi scienziati commettano un grande errore, che possa avvenire soltanto in un giorno. Se ciò fosse vero, non c'è nessuna possibilità per quanto riguarda gli abitanti sia alle falde del Vesuvio che anche limitrofe.
Yet he acknowledges the politicians gave the green light to building the massive Ospedale del Mare.
È chiaro che sembra contraddittorio da parte dell'ente pubblico costruire un ospedale in una zona a rischio. Deve comprendere che finché c'è la popolazione lì abbiamo anche il diritto-dovere di curare i cittadini che sono in quella zona.
Dovute alla demobilizzazione per pioggia.
When it comes to things Vesuvius, Italy's politicians listen to this man. Professor Franco Barbari from Rome University 3 is the consultant to the Campania regional government. He assures them that there will be plenty of time to escape if there's a major eruption.
So, minimum 2 weeks of sign will be given by the volcano. So there is no possibility that the Vesuvius will erupt without giving precursory sign.
Franco Barbari works closely with the Civil Protection Agency he once headed. They've repeatedly told the local population that there'll be at least 7 days to evacuate the red zone if they believe an eruption is imminent. Now they're worried they might have got it wrong. They want to cut the time to evacuate to 3 days. But those affected don't know about it yet.
Before the official adoption of the plan, there will be very many meetings with the Vesuvius population to explain them.
At the Naples Observatory, scientists listen to the heartbeat of Vesuvius day and night. They're also closely watching another, more obviously active volcano, Stromboli, Italy's largest. This explosion in the crater of Stromboli was captured by an infrared camera on the 15th of March. It erupted with only a couple of minutes warning, in spite of the state-of-the-art monitoring. For 2,000 years, there have been non-stop fireworks in the world's most active volcano, some 250 kilometres across the sea from Naples in the Aeolian Islands. This year it's been particularly active. A massive lava flow in February and the huge explosion in March. The Mediterranean hideaway is 10 hours by boat from Naples. It rises sharply from the sea. But the visible part is far smaller than the rest of the volcano, which lies beneath the waves. Stromboli totally dominates the island that shares its name. It doesn't matter where you go or who you talk to, the volcano looms large. And the people who live here are not afraid, but they're always ready to flee. Gaetano Cusolito and his brother Roberto have grown up on Stromboli and are used to its antics. But the night of the 15th of March was different.
Era come una botta forte, no scoppio, come un soffione di fuoco. E ha fatto un fungo e in cielo la montagna era tutto fuoco di notte, no? Tutto rosso e con fulmini che non avevo mai visto, sembrava di chissà che cosa. Infatti la parte lì sopra c'erano un po' di piccoli incendi, un po' dappertutto, forse una ventina di incendi. E poi si è calmato tutto. Noi eravamo un po' preoccupati perché c'erano prima persone fino all'osservatorio, perché era una serata veramente magica per lo Stromboli. Lo Stromboli regala questa emozione della volta, era magica.
The Cusolito brothers belong to one of Stromboli's big fishing families. They weren't born when the island was devastated by a major eruption in 1930. But their uncle, Stefano Cincotta, vividly remembers it. The eruption destroyed the island's agriculture and sent people fleeing, most immigrating to Australia.
E ho visto Stromboli in un colpo, un grande boato, e tutto fiamme, tutto pietre che cadevano. È venuto buio, il sole non c'era più, era tutto un fuoco, una palla di fuoco, l'isola bruciava.
Stromboli's hijinks keep the people on their toes. By contrast, it's the very silence of Vesuvius that lulls the people who live beneath it into a false sense of security. At one of Italy's highest shops on the summit, tourists and their guides walk unafraid.
The Vesuvius is a dangerous volcano, but I'm not afraid of the volcano, because I trust in the scientists that they give us a time to escape.
And below, in downtown Naples, most don't worry about it at all.
Assolutamente no. No, per me sappiamo che è un vulcano spento. Essendo vicini comunque al pericolo, uno non lo sente mai così pericoloso, appunto, però
sì, anche perché noi in città siamo abbastanza lontani dal Vesuvio.
È bellissimo.
È bella, sarebbe una bella esperienza andarla a visitare, anche se un po' di paura mi fa, perché se è bello e buono non scoppia. Infatti si dice vedi Napoli e poi muori.
The saying, "See Naples and die," was coined by an 18th century admirer seduced by the city's beauty. Today, its magnificence is often overwhelmed by the chaos that comes with being one of Europe's most densely populated cities. And all the while, Vesuvius reigns over the city that is held in its thrall.